Listen to me closely. Sometimes God doesn't calm the storm. He lets it rage, and instead, he calms you. There are moments in life where you're standing in the middle of chaos. Everything around you is falling apart, relationships breaking, finances collapsing, health declining, people walking away, and you're begging, God, make it stop. Just make it stop. But he doesn't. He doesn't take away the storm. And in that moment, it's easy to think he's silent, that he's forgotten you. But he hasn't. He's working, not on the outside, on the inside. See, storms don't come to destroy you. They come to develop you. They come to build a version of you that couldn't exist in calm waters. When everything's perfect, when life is easy, you don't grow, you stay comfortable. But comfort never made anyone strong. Comfort never created warriors. It's in the battle, in the storm, in the sleepless nights, in the tears. That's where you're being refined. That's where you discover who you really are and who God created you to be. You're asking God to remove the weight. But he's saying, I'm training your strength. You're asking him to stop the wind, but he's saying, I'm teaching you how to stand tall in it. You're asking him to quiet the thunder, but he's saying, no, I'm going to make you louder than the thunder. There's a version of you on the other side of this storm that's unstoppable, a version that can look pain in the face and say, I've been through worse and I'm still standing. That's power. That's faith. So when life hits, and don't run from it. Don't beg for easy. Beg for strength. Beg for wisdom. Beg for growth. Because God doesn't just want to deliver you from the storm. He wants to deliver something through you because of the storm. You see, the storm isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's not rejection. It's redirection. It's not the end. It's the making of a brand new beginning. Some of you right now are in the fight of your life. You're tired. You're drained. You're ready to give up. But hear me. This is not where your story ends. This is where your strength begins. This is where your faith stops being theory and becomes reality. This is where you stop just believing in God and start trusting him. When you realize that he didn't remove the storm because he made you strong enough to stand in it, everything changes. You stop asking, why me? And start saying, thank you for choosing me. Because not everyone is built for this. Not everyone could handle what you're carrying, but you can. You were designed for this exact moment. Think about it. Every storm you've ever faced, you survived. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every sleepless night, you made it. You might have crawled, you might have stumbled, but you made it through. And if you made it through before, you'll make it through again. So stand firm, lift your head, speak to the storm and say, you can rage all you want, but I'm not going anywhere. You've got a power inside you that can't be shaken. You've got faith that moves mountains. You've got a God who doesn't promise an easy road, but he promises that you'll never walk it alone. The storm may not stop today. The wind might keep blowing. But one thing's for sure, you're stronger now than you've ever been. You're wiser now. You're more focused, more resilient. You've been trained by fire, refined by pressure, and built for impact. So no, God didn't remove the storm. He did something better. He made you the kind of person who can walk through it, rise above it, and still come out with peace in your heart, power in your spirit, and purpose in your step. You don't need the storm to stop. You just need to remember who's standing with you in it. You were never meant to drown. You were meant to dominate. Now, go stand tall in the storm, because what was meant to break you is about to build you. God doesn't calm every storm. He strengthens you to stand in it. That single truth shifts everything about how you see your challenges. Most people spend their lives praying for the wind to stop, for the rain to slow down, for the sky to clear, but they never realize that maybe the goal was never the calm. It was the becoming. Because if every storm stopped the moment you asked, you'd never know what you're capable of enduring. You'd never discover the depth of the strength that God placed inside you. Growth doesn't come from the absence of struggle. It comes from finding your power in the middle of it. When you ask God to make the storm go away and he doesn't, that's not rejection. It's divine strategy. He's building a version of you that knows how to stand tall when everything around you shakes. Think about it. Every person who has ever done something great has faced storms that could have destroyed them. The difference between those who crumble and those who conquer isn't the size of the storm. It's the strength of the spirit. And that strength doesn't appear overnight. It's forged through battles, heartbreaks, and seasons of uncertainty where you have to trust even when you can't trace what God is doing. You want calm seas, but calm seas never made skilled sailors. You only learn to steer when the waves test your balance. You only learn endurance when the wind pushes against you. And that's why sometimes God doesn't remove the adversity. He allows it to build your endurance. He allows the pressure to refine your focus. He allows the resistance to reveal the warrior within you. It's in those moments when you feel like you can't take another step that your true capacity begins to show. When everything inside you screams, I can't, but something greater whispers, yes, you can. That's not just motivation. That's divine strength rising up. That's the spirit within you reminding you that you were never meant to break under pressure. You were meant to be strengthened by it. God isn't trying to destroy you with storms. He's revealing to you that what he placed inside of you is unshakable. You're not fragile. You're fortified. Every hit, every loss, every disappointment, it's been shaping you into someone who can't be moved by temporary chaos. You've been praying for calm, but God has been training your calm. When you learn to stand in the storm, you no longer fear it. You stop seeing the storm as the enemy and start recognizing it as the environment where your power grows. You begin to realize that faith isn't about escaping struggle, it's about standing firm in it. It's about believing that even if everything around you is falling apart, you won't. You'll hold your ground. You'll keep your peace. You'll stay centered in the middle of the mess because your strength no longer depends on what's happening around you. It's rooted in what's happening within you. God wants you to be the kind of person who can look at chaos and still choose courage, who can feel the wind against your face and still move forward, who can face fear and still choose faith. Every storm you've ever faced was sent to show you something about yourself. Maybe it showed you that you're more resilient than you thought. Maybe it showed you that you can survive without things you thought you needed. Maybe it showed you that peace isn't about what you have, it's about what you choose to hold on to. There's a version of you that can only emerge through turbulence. It's the version that doesn't depend on comfort to feel confident. It's the version that doesn't need certainty to move forward. That version of you walks into storms knowing that the same God who allowed it will sustain you through it. Sometimes the reason God doesn't remove the storm is because he's already equipped you to handle it. You're looking for rescue, but he's already given you resilience. You're asking for peace, but he's already placed power within you. You're begging for escape, but he's saying, no, this time you're going to rise. Every challenge that once intimidated you is now your training ground. Every wave that once threatened to drown you is now what lifts you higher. The storm you thought was there to destroy you is actually there to reveal you. Think about the people who inspire you most, the ones who radiate strength, faith, and confidence. None of them got there because life was easy. They got there because they faced storms and stood in them long enough to learn who they truly are. You don't become strong by avoiding storms. You become strong by refusing to bow to them. God doesn't waste pain, and he doesn't allow storms without purpose. He uses them to strip away the false layers, the doubts, the fears, the insecurities, so that what's left is pure, unshakable faith. He uses them to remind you that your foundation isn't built on circumstance, it's built on him. When you realize that, something inside you changes. You stop praying for things to get easier and start asking to get stronger. You stop waiting for calm conditions to move and start learning to move in the middle of the wind. You stop seeking comfort and start seeking growth, because growth is where the power is. Growth is where transformation happens. Growth is what takes you from surviving storms to commanding them. That's when you stop saying, God, take me out of this, and start saying, God, strengthen me for this. That's when your mindset shifts from victim to victor, from fearful to fearless. And that's when storms lose their power over you. They may roar, they may rage, but you're no longer shaken. You've learned that storms don't define you. They reveal you. They don't weaken you. They awaken you. You begin to see that the same wind that tries to knock you down can also lift you higher if you stand the right way. God doesn't calm every storm, because if he did, you'd never discover the depth of your divine resilience. Sometimes he lets the waves crash just so you can see that you were built to stand. So when life gets rough, when people walk away, when doors close, when your plans fall apart, don't curse the storm. Don't assume God abandoned you. Remember that he's strengthening something in you. Maybe he's teaching you patience. Maybe he's expanding your faith. Maybe he's preparing you for something far greater than the calm you're asking for. Whatever it is, it's working for your good, because the storm is temporary, but the strength it builds will last forever. And once you've learned how to stand in one storm, no future storm will ever have the same power to shake you again. Storms are not punishment. They are preparation for your purpose. Every time life throws you into chaos, it's easy to assume that something has gone wrong, that maybe you've done something to deserve the pain, that somehow you've fallen out of alignment with where you were supposed to be. But that's not how divine development works. God doesn't send storms to destroy you. He sends them to prepare you. Every difficult season, every delay, every disappointment, it's not meant to break your spirit. It's meant to build your strength. It's not meant to push you backward. It's meant to shape you into someone who can handle what's coming next. Because before God promotes you, he prepares you. And that preparation rarely feels comfortable. Preparation doesn't look like peace. It looks like pressure. It looks like everything around you shaking so that the weak parts of your foundation can be revealed and rebuilt. When you pray for growth, God doesn't send comfort. He sends challenge. He doesn't hand you strength. He gives you situations that require you to use it. The storm is the gym where your spirit trains. Every battle is a workout for your faith. Every setback is resistance training for your endurance. You may not realize it now, but the very pain you're praying to escape might be the same pain that's preparing you to step into your calling with power. Because the truth is, you can't walk in purpose if you're not prepared to carry the weight that comes with it. When you look back at the times you struggled, those were the moments that shaped you the most. Think about it. The heartbreaks, the betrayals, the nights you didn't think you'd make it. Those moments built something inside you that comfort never could. They taught you resilience. They taught you discernment. They taught you to rely on something greater than yourself. They stripped away the parts of you that couldn't go with you into the next level. That's the purpose of the storm. It removes what's unnecessary and reveals what's essential. You're not being punished. You're being purified. You're not being rejected. You're being redirected. Preparation requires pressure. Just like gold is refined by fire, your purpose is refined by adversity. The heat you feel in the storm is not there to burn you. It's there to melt away everything that isn't you. God knows that if he gave you the blessing too soon, it might crush you instead of elevate you. So before he releases it, he strengthens you. Before he promotes you, he protects you through process. The process is what builds your character, your patience, your faith, and your focus. It teaches you how to handle storms with grace so that when the reward arrives, you have the maturity to manage it when you face resistance. It's not a sign that you're off course. It's often confirmation that you're right where you need to be, because purpose is heavy and only pressure can prepare you to hold it. If you're being tested, it means you're being trusted with something bigger. God doesn't waste effort on those who aren't called to carry something great. He puts weight on those he intends to strengthen. Every trial you endure is like a teacher in disguise. It's shaping your mind, your habits, your faith, and your ability to stand firm under tension. You might not see it right now, but every storm is setting the stage for something significant. We live in a world that tells us to avoid discomfort at all costs, but divine growth doesn't work that way. You don't grow by avoiding the storm. You grow by learning how to navigate through it. Every gust of wind teaches you balance. Every wave teaches you trust. Every lightning strike teaches you awareness. When you walk through storms, you're being trained for territory you haven't yet stepped into. The things that seem to be working against you are often the very things God is using to prepare you for what's ahead. Sometimes preparation looks like isolation. God pulls you away from people who no longer align with your purpose because where he's taking you requires a different level of focus. Sometimes preparation looks like loss. He allows something to be removed because he's making room for something greater. Sometimes preparation looks like delay. You think he's late, but he's actually making sure everything is perfectly timed for your arrival. The delay isn't denial, it's development. Every obstacle, every closed door, every painful season, it's all part of the preparation. And when you finally understand that storms are not punishment, you stop resenting them. You start using them. You start asking, what is this trying to teach me? What muscle is this building? What fear is this storm exposing in me that needs to be healed before I can move forward? You begin to see the storm as a classroom instead of a curse, because purpose without preparation leads to collapse. You can't carry a destiny built on weak foundations. So God uses the storm to reinforce your strength, to build your endurance, and to align your character with your calling. Every great destiny requires development, and development always comes with discomfort. The things you're facing now are not random. They're rehearsals for your future. The same skills, faith, and strength you're building now will be the tools that sustain you later. You might not see the connection today, but one day you'll look back and realize that every storm prepared you for exactly where you are. You'll see that what felt like punishment was actually protection, that what felt like chaos was actually construction. When you're in the middle of the storm, your vision is clouded. You can't see the full picture. That's why trust is essential. You have to trust that there's a purpose behind the pain, that there's design behind the delay. God doesn't allow storms without intention. He doesn't put you through fire just to watch you burn. He puts you through fire to watch you shine. Every season of struggle is molding you into someone who can handle more, lead more, give more, and inspire more. The person you're becoming requires these storms. You can't skip the preparation and still walk in your purpose. You can't demand the promise without being willing to endure the process, because it's the process that teaches you how to handle the promise once it comes. It's the storm that equips you with the patience, humility, and strength you'll need when the weight of your calling gets heavy. So when it rains, stand tall. When the thunder roars, don't run. Remember that this is not punishment, it's preparation. Every storm is a setup for the strength you'll need to carry your purpose into the world. Comfort doesn't create strength. Pressure does. Every human being wants growth, but few want the grind that comes with it. Everyone says they want to be strong, but they pray for ease instead of endurance, for relief instead of resilience. But real strength isn't born in comfort. It's forged in the furnace of discomfort. It's created when you're stretched, tested, and pushed beyond what you thought you could handle. Pressure is not your enemy. It's your sculptor. It carves out the weak parts of you and reveals the warrior that's been hidden underneath all along. If life were always smooth, if everything went exactly as you planned, you'd never need faith. You'd never develop grit. It's the moments when you're forced to keep going despite the pain that shape your character. It's when everything in you wants to quit, but something greater inside whispers, not yet, that you truly begin to discover who you are. Pressure introduces you to your power. It shows you that strength isn't just physical. It's spiritual, emotional, mental. It's the ability to stand tall when the world feels heavy on your shoulders. When life applies pressure, most people panic. They think something's gone wrong. But what if the pressure was never there to crush you, but to construct you? What if God allows pressure because he knows potential without pressure is wasted potential? Diamonds don't form without heat. Muscles don't grow without resistance. Faith doesn't deepen without uncertainty. Every great thing in life is refined under tension. The same way a seed has to break before it becomes a tree, you have to go through breaking moments before you become who you were created to be. Comfort will never produce that version of you. Comfort keeps you small, predictable, and safe. Pressure demands you rise. There's a reason why every hero in history, every person who has ever transformed their life or impacted others, had to face moments of pressure that could have destroyed them. It wasn't coincidence. It was preparation. Because greatness and comfort can't coexist. You can't stay comfortable and expect transformation. The cocoon isn't comfortable for the caterpillar. It's tight, dark, and confining, but it's necessary. Without that confinement, there's no butterfly. Without pressure, there's no power. Most people spend their lives running from pressure, looking for shortcuts, hoping life gets easier. But the truth is, ease never made anyone extraordinary. The gym of life doesn't get lighter weights just because you're tired. It gives you the exact resistance needed to build the muscle you ask for. You said you wanted strength, so God gave you situations that demand it. You said you wanted patience, so he gave you people and circumstances that test it. You said you wanted growth, so he gave you moments that stretch you. Every bit of pressure is customized for your purpose. Nothing is wasted. Pressure teaches you what comfort can't. It teaches you how to stay calm when everything's chaotic. It teaches you how to think clearly under stress. It teaches you how to lead when others fold. It builds emotional control, spiritual depth, and unshakable focus. The more pressure you face, the more prepared you are for purpose. Every season of your life that feels hard is actually shaping your capacity. You're not being punished. You're being promoted through process. God uses pressure to prepare you for positions you can't yet see. There's a powerful shift that happens when you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to make out of me? That's when you stop being a victim of circumstance and start becoming a vessel of transformation. Pressure is not random. It's intentional. It's heaven's way of stretching you into your next level. When you face pressure, don't fight it, learn from it. Don't pray it away, grow through it. Because every time you survive pressure, your faith expands, your mind sharpens, your energy elevates. You become more capable of carrying what's meant for you. Comfort creates complacency. It tricks you into thinking you're okay staying where you are. It lulls you into mediocrity. But pressure wakes you up. It reminds you that you're meant for more. It stirs up your hunger, your drive, your fight. The strongest people you know didn't get that way by sitting in comfort. They got that way by surviving what others couldn't. They leaned into pressure, and pressure produced power. You don't discover your strength when everything's smooth. You discover it when your back is against the wall, when your plans fail, when life feels unfair, when nothing makes sense, but you choose to keep showing up. That's where growth lives. That's where faith matures. That's where champions are made. The most powerful version of you is waiting on the other side of pressure. You don't get to meet that version until you face the storms, the setbacks, the struggles. And when you finally get there, you'll look back and realize that the moments you hated most were the ones that helped you the most. Pressure doesn't just build strength, it reveals identity. It strips away who you pretend to be and forces you to show who you really are. When things get tough, masks fall off, excuses disappear, and truth surfaces. That's why God allows pressure, because he wants to bring forth authenticity. He wants you to know the real you, the one who can handle storms, the one who can walk through fire and still stand, the one who knows that strength isn't about avoiding pain, but about rising through it. There's a version of you that you've never met yet, the version that's unstoppable, unshakable, and unbreakable. And that version is waiting on the other side of pressure. Every challenge you face is a doorway to that next level. Every disappointment is a stepping stone. Every closed door, every rejection, every delay, it's all resistance training for your destiny. Without it, you'd stay soft. Without it, you'd never evolve. God loves you too much to let you stay in comfort when he's called you to conquer. So when pressure comes, don't shrink, expand. Don't complain, commit, don't break, build. You're not under attack, you're under construction. You're being shaped for something greater than you can see right now. Pressure means you're in process, and process always precedes promotion. You might not understand it while you're in it, but when you look back, you'll realize that every ounce of pressure had purpose. It built in you the strength, patience, and power that comfort never could. Because comfort doesn't create strength, pressure does. Faith isn't proven in calm waters, but in crashing waves. It's easy to believe in God when everything is going your way. It's easy to say, I trust you when life is smooth, when the path is clear, when the skies are blue. But that's not faith, that's convenience. True faith is revealed when the winds howl, when the storms rage, when the waves threaten to swallow you whole. It's in those moments when every instinct screams to give up that faith shows its true strength. It's in the pressure, the pain, the uncertainty, the chaos that you discover whether your trust is rooted in circumstance or in the one who never changes. Many people think faith is about knowing the outcome, about having everything figured out, about seeing the end before the beginning. But that's not faith, that's sight. Faith is believing when you can't see. Faith is holding on when everything around you is shaking. Faith is saying, I may not understand, I may not know, I may not have answers, but I know God is with me. That kind of faith isn't comfortable. It's not safe. It's not convenient, but it's powerful, transformative, and unstoppable. It's the kind of faith that moves mountains, changes destinies, and shifts realities. Faith grows in turbulence. The more you are tested, the more opportunities you have to strengthen your trust. When life is easy, faith is dormant. It doesn't stretch, it doesn't strain, it doesn't expand. But when the waves rise, when the challenges multiply, when everything seems impossible, that's when faith is exercised. It's in those moments that you learn that faith isn't a feeling, it's a decision. It's a choice to stand, to speak, to believe, even when logic says otherwise. That choice is what separates ordinary believers from extraordinary ones. That choice is what turns trials into testimonies and storms into stages for miracles. Consider the lessons hidden in the storm. Every wave is an opportunity to deepen your trust. Every gust of wind is a chance to prove that you are anchored. Every crack in your world is a chance to lean not on your understanding, but on God's wisdom. Faith doesn't remove the waves, but it equips you to rise above them. It doesn't always calm the storm, but it calms your heart within it. It doesn't guarantee an easy path, but it guarantees that you won't be alone on the journey. Faith is the bridge between fear and victory, between chaos and peace, between despair and hope. When your faith is tested, it reveals what you truly believe. Because in the quiet moments of comfort, anyone can say they trust God. But in the middle of a storm, only the heart that has been truly trained in trust can stand firm. This is why storms are not punishments. They are platforms. They are platforms for demonstrating that faith is more than words. It is action. It is persistence. It is courage in the face of uncertainty. The waves may crash, but your confidence, anchored in faith, can rise above them. Faith is strengthened through repetition. Every storm you face, every challenge you survive, every obstacle you overcome adds layers of resilience to your spirit. You begin to see patterns, to understand the rhythm of divine orchestration, to recognize that God's presence is not dependent on the absence of trouble, but on his power to carry you through it. Each trial becomes a building block. Each difficulty a stepping stone, each setback a teacher. And with each one, faith becomes less about hope and more about certainty, less about wishing and more about knowing, less about fear and more about fearless trust. True faith also transforms perspective. When you start seeing storms as opportunities rather than obstacles, everything changes. You no longer pray for life to be easy. You pray for strength to endure. You no longer cry for challenges to disappear. You ask for courage to face them. You no longer measure God's presence by comfort, but by his faithfulness. Faith shifts the focus from what's happening around you to what's happening within you, from external circumstances to internal alignment, from temporary struggles to eternal outcomes. It teaches you to see beyond the immediate and trust the process that is shaping you. Faith is not passive. It does not wait idly for problems to vanish. It acts, it perseveres, it persists. It steps forward even when the path is unclear. It moves even when fear threatens to paralyze. It speaks even when doubt whispers. This is why faith in the storm is more valuable than faith in calm waters. It is tested, proven, and refined. It is active, living, breathing, and unstoppable. The storms cannot diminish it, and the trials cannot define it. Each wave only serves to illuminate the depth of your trust. Faith also teaches dependence. In the calm, it's easy to rely on self, on your abilities, plans, and understanding. But in the storm, dependence on God becomes necessary. That dependence is not weakness. It is the essence of strength. It's recognizing that the power to endure, to persevere, to rise above does not come from within you alone. It comes from the one who holds the universe together, who controls the winds, who calms the seas, and who never sleeps or slumbers. Faith in the storm is reliance on divine strength over personal capability, trust over fear, and hope over despair. Every time you exercise faith in the middle of difficulty, you create a testimony. Every moment you choose trust over panic, peace over anxiety, hope over despair, you write a story that inspires others. Your faith in the storm doesn't just carry you. It becomes a beacon for everyone watching. People will see your calm in chaos, your courage in uncertainty, and they will be drawn to the source of your strength. Faith is contagious. It spreads through example, through endurance, through visible evidence that God is faithful even when life is not easy. Faith also requires patience. Storms rarely pass on your schedule. Waves do not recede because you want them to, and winds do not die down just because you pray. But faith holds steady in the waiting. It anchors your soul in the knowledge that God is working behind the scenes, that every delay has a purpose, and that every trial is temporary in the hands of a permanent God. Patience in the storm is a demonstration that your trust is not conditional upon comfort, but founded on eternal promises. It is the quiet strength that whispers, I may not see the end, but I know it will come. Finally, faith in the storm produces resilience. Every challenge faced and overcome fortifies your spirit, enlarges your capacity, and deepens your courage. You become someone who no longer fears the unknown because you've already navigated the unpredictable. You become someone whose peace is unshakable because it is anchored in what cannot be moved. You become someone whose strength is undeniable because it has been proven in fire. Storms do not create fear in the faithful. They create fortitude. They do not destroy the steadfast, they elevate them. And through each trial, each wave, each crash, faith continues to grow, proving that it is not dependent on circumstances, but on the one who never fails. There's a reason why God doesn't remove every storm from your life, because he is making you strong enough to stand. Life isn't meant to be a straight, easy path. It's meant to be a training ground, a proving ground, a place where character, faith, and resilience are developed. Every storm that hits, every challenge that shakes your world, every obstacle that seems insurmountable is a divine opportunity to grow stronger than you were yesterday. Most people pray for life to be easy, for problems to disappear, for comfort to arrive, but true strength is never born from comfort. It's forged in fire, tested in adversity, and proven in the moments when giving up seems easier than holding on. Think about this. Every person who has ever achieved greatness, every person who has ever impacted the world has had to endure storms. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is not the absence of difficulty. It's the ability to stand firm when everything is falling apart. Strength is not given, it's developed. You don't become resilient because life is kind. You become resilient because life challenges you relentlessly. God allows storms not to punish you, but to prepare you. He doesn't remove the rain so that you can stay dry. He strengthens you so that you can walk through it with courage, confidence, and faith. When the winds howl, when the waves crash, when fear threatens to overtake your mind, you discover who you really are. You realize that strength isn't the absence of struggle. It's the ability to persist despite it. True strength is built in the pressure points of life, in the cracks of your world, in the moments when everything seems like it's about to collapse. That's where character is built. That's where endurance is tested. That's where faith is proven. The storm doesn't define you, but it reveals you. It shows you what you're capable of, and it forces you to step into the power that's been inside you all along. Many people make the mistake of believing that faith is about avoiding storms. They pray for life to be easy, for obstacles to disappear, for conflict to vanish. But that's not faith, that's convenience. Real faith doesn't wait for the storm to pass. It learns to stand in it. It doesn't look for calm seas. It trusts in the strength within. God's goal is not to remove every problem, but to cultivate strength, courage, and resilience in your heart. He allows challenges because he knows that a life without resistance would leave you unprepared for the blessings and responsibilities that await you. Every test is a setup, every trial is a teacher, and every storm is a stage for the development of your power and purpose. You see, storms have a way of exposing the weaknesses that comfort hides. When life is easy, it's simple to maintain a fast aid of strength, to feel confident, to believe you're ready. But when pressure arrives, when everything shakes, when the unexpected hits, that's when true strength is revealed. God allows storms not to crush you, but to bring out the fortitude that has always existed within you. The pressure forces you to dig deeper, to reach higher, to stand firmer. It teaches you patience, endurance, and perseverance. It strengthens your heart, sharpens your mind, and ignites your spirit. Every storm you've faced, every challenge you've survived, every setback you've endured has prepared you for this moment. You may not realize it yet, but the storms were never random. They were intentional. They were designed to build in you the courage to face what's next. They were opportunities to refine your character, to fortify your faith, and to awaken a strength you didn't know you had. That's why when you finally step through the storm, you don't just survive, you rise. You don't just endure, you conquer. You don't just exist, you thrive. Strength built through storms is unshakable. When you've been tested by adversity and still stand, nothing can topple you. You've learned to trust in your own resilience, to rely on God's guidance, and to walk forward with confidence even when the path is unclear. Storms teach you that your foundation isn't in circumstances, but in the power, presence, and promises of God. They teach you that no matter what comes, you can face it, you can overcome it, and you can remain steadfast. They teach you that true strength is not measured by the absence of struggle, but by the ability to maintain faith, courage, and determination in spite of it. When life becomes difficult, it's natural to question, to doubt, to want relief. But the moments when you feel most tested are the moments when growth is occurring. That pressure you're feeling is not punishment, it's preparation. That resistance you're encountering is not rejection, it's refinement. That pain you're enduring is not a setback, it's a setup. Every trial, every obstacle, every storm is equipping you with the tools, skills, and strength you need to fulfill your purpose. God doesn't remove storms because he knows that your capacity to stand tall is greater than your desire for comfort. He's teaching you to rise above the chaos, to remain unwavering, and to discover the power within you that only emerges under pressure. Strength in the storm also teaches patience and perseverance. The ability to wait, to endure, and to continue moving forward when nothing seems certain is invaluable. It's easy to be strong when life is predictable, but the storms develop a different kind of strength, a strength that's steady, calm, and unwavering even in the face of uncertainty. It's the strength that allows you to navigate challenges with clarity, to make decisions with confidence, and to act with courage even when the outcome is unknown. It's the strength that transforms fear into faith, doubt into determination, and obstacles into opportunities. God's intention is not to make your life easy, it is to make you strong. The storms, the setbacks, the obstacles, they are not signs of failure or punishment. They are signals that growth is occurring, that strength is being built, and that preparation is taking place. Every time you face difficulty and choose to stand, you are proving to yourself and to the world that you are capable, resilient, and empowered. You are demonstrating that your faith is not conditional on comfort, but rooted in trust, perseverance, and courage. The storms also teach humility and dependence. When life becomes overwhelming, you are reminded that strength is not solely in your own hands. You learn to rely on God, to seek guidance, and to trust in a power greater than yourself. That dependence is not weakness. It is the foundation of true strength. It teaches you to lean on divine wisdom, to draw from a source that never fails, and to understand that endurance comes not just from effort, but from alignment with purpose. Storms remind you that you are not alone, that support is available, and that guidance and strength come from trusting in what is greater than circumstance. Through each storm, you also develop resilience. Resilience is not just about bouncing back, it's about moving forward stronger than before. It's about taking what once threatened to break you and turning it into fuel for growth, confidence, and empowerment. Every challenge faced, Every trial endured, every moment of pressure strengthens your resolve, sharpens your focus, and expands your capacity to handle future storms. With each passing challenge, you become more capable, more courageous, and more confident in your ability to stand tall, no matter what life throws your way. The storms of life are not random. They are purposeful. They are designed to prepare you, to strengthen you, and to reveal the power and potential that lie within you. God doesn't remove storms because he wants you to discover that strength is found not in comfort, but in endurance. He wants you to stand to rise and to become the person you were always meant to be. Each wave, each gust of wind, each trial is an opportunity to grow, to refine your character, to deepen your faith, and to expand your capacity. God allows storms not to defeat you, but to equip you, to empower you, and to elevate you. Every storm you endure strengthens you for what lies ahead. You may feel wary, overwhelmed, or uncertain in the moment, but that very experience is building a foundation of strength that cannot be shaken. You are learning to stand, to persevere, and to trust in your ability to rise above adversity. The storms are shaping your character, developing your resilience, and revealing the power and potential that lie within you. God allows storms not to punish you, but to make you strong enough to face whatever comes, to overcome obstacles, and to fulfill the purpose he has placed in your life.